So I got all three blades out now, and I just gotta do the hold down clip next, and then start taking off the sides. There is a spring under there. I've heard people that it will snap out or go flying somewhere, so watch out for that. Next we have two snap rings on each side. So same thing, be real careful, because if they lose grip, these things will go flying, and then you never find them again. Ooh, like that. Oh, yeah, I gotta take this little tension spring off. There you go, and then this should just wiggle out. I got that one. There we go. And just keep them together. There is a little washer on the back of that one, so I'm just gonna lay it straight down on my paper. Next we have these three bolts here. So to get the gearbox out, sorry, I didn't click record on that. You can adjust the speed lever, and then that pivots here, and then allows the shaft to come out. I know in the instructions it tells you to take the little bolted screw out there and pull it out, but I've also seen videos where they kind of just prop it off and lay it on the sides, that way you have to fully take it out. So here we are on the right side. Take off this cover. Here we have the same chain assembly, a tensioner. So we're just gonna take the tensioner spring off, and then get that out of the way. There is Loctite, but that came off very easy. So then we have two screws that hold down the chain here. Just trying to hold it still so the chain doesn't... Oh. I don't want the chain to start spinning. Same thing, put everything on a little mat, keep everything all in order. Just a little heads up, there's a little vent window here because I've heard the belt is kind of a pain to get off. So I unscrewed it and all of a sudden I hear a bunch of clicks. It's actually a little lock. I thought it was screwed in, there's a little captured nut or something, but it's actually just a little wing lock. So be careful taking it out because all of a sudden the washer and the screw fell on the floor. Thankfully, I found them, but just to give you guys a little heads up, just screw it a little bit and then unlock it and then pull it out and don't throw it on the floor. All right, and I've heard this belt is very tight and it's prone to badly pinch your fingers, but I've heard it's nice if you kind of pull on it as you rotate it. That's not so bad. If you can get your finger on the back side of the belt and kind of push down and out, and it'll start going rib by rib and coming out. That wasn't so bad, but it definitely did catch my glove. That would have pinched the heck out of my finger. Nice. Okay. So there is a key in here, a keyway, and I can see it's on the bottom. Not gonna go crazy, just a little. See if we can kind of rock it out a little bit. There you go. Just a little rocking. And the key. There's the little key. So there is a little snap ring down here, and I think there's one on the other side. Oh, that got me good. I didn't lose it though. We're good. Yeah, I went back to the other side. There is another snap ring over here with a ton of the gear grease. If I can even get onto it. There we go. There we are. Next, we gotta remove the helical gear. So I just took a piece of 3/4 plywood to wedge it between the old, so that way it won't spin when I take it out. It's not very tight, it came right out. Put that aside. Now it's time to push the shaft out. So here I just have a 24mm socket because it fits right in there against the outer race of the bearing. Put it in there. I just went through and cleaned up some of the surfaces, wiped down all the bearing surfaces. So now I'm gonna do is take a little grease from the gearbox, lube up the circles, or the housings, I'm sorry, and then put the snap ring back in this side so it has a positive stop when, because the shaft is gonna go in this way, so it has a positive stop over here. Also with snap rings, you wanna make sure you go around and just double check that they're fully seated, because sometimes it'll look like it's in, but it's actually just outside of the track. So I always just go through and just double check that it's all the way around. So now time to put the shaft back in. I took a little grease from the gearbox, put it on the housings there, and then just a little bit around the outside of the bearings here, just to help lubricate them and go back into place. This is a very tight fit. So that was a little awkward because the large bearing starts already going in before the smaller bearing probably has like a 1/2 inch gap to it. So you kind of feel like when you're putting it in, it's like the shaft is kind of going in crooked. So I was just doing little taps and constantly, I was taking like a little plastic pry bar or even something from the other side and just like lifting up on the inside of the bearing just to help guide it, because I didn't want it to start tipping down, and just kept tapping just until it's seated there. So now that bearing started, this bearing seems like it's almost all the way in, and we have the snap ring on the other side. So now we just tap it all the way home. Sorry, I forgot to hit record for that one, but so I have that snap ring on, obviously, drove the shaft in, and then just put that snap ring in, and then everything spins nice and smooth, nothing's binded. So now we just go in reverse order and put it all back together. There we go. There we go. So I just had to tighten down the shaft bolt. It says on the video, the actual installation video, it says don't do too tight. One thing I wish I gave torque specs for everything, like the gearbox shaft and the nut. I just like it to be more satisfying than just not too tight. So that's my only critique so far, is I didn't really see, other than the blades getting torqued down to the shaft, I didn't see any really torque specs or anything like that. So I'm just gonna put a piece of wood in there. I'm always just checking everything's still spinning nice and smooth. Now it's time to get that belt back on. God dang though, the hardest part so far was getting that belt back on. And make sure the little pulley up here, because it keeps wanting to come off a rib or two. So just make sure that that belt is fully seated on both of them, but especially that one up there. Do this thing for me. So got everything back together. I just got to put all the bits on. I know that's going to take forever, but honestly, it wasn't bad. I obviously was filming it, so it took longer, but if I wasn't filming it, I would probably say 45 minutes to an hour, you know, taking your time, cleaning everything up. I just got to put all the bits in, but it was a pretty simple kit. Came with everything you need. The only thing I wish it did was give you the torque specs for like the shaft nut on the end or the gearbox stuff. And then possibly, and I'm just critiquing here, like a little packet of grease to put on but there's enough grease in the gearbox. But I put the bits on and we'll go from there. So I got the first row of bits in. It was pretty time consuming because you had to go through and start threading all of them. I got this, and it's 6 Newton meters for the torque spec to those screws. Honestly, I can't remember. I think I got this on Amazon, but it's called the Fat Wrench that he used. Obviously, it's foot pounds. It's like 53 foot pounds is close enough. Oh, I'm sorry, 53 inch pounds. But yeah, you just twist it, and then that way it kind of, and also it'll click over just like a standard torque wrench. But it's way easier to get this in there than swinging around the handle of a standard torque wrench. So I think I got a few more rows to go. I didn't time it, but man, that felt like it took forever. But I got all the blades in, so then now I just got to put the little dust hood, and then the top, and then it's good to go. Here we are, moment of truth, just about to turn it on. Good. So now that I've had this head installed for a few weeks, highly recommend it. I think this thing was worth every penny. It was $320. I got the base kit. You can get more cutter heads, and there's a couple other kit options you can get. I got the base kit, and then there was a $10 international charge, so $330. I think it's worth every penny. I filmed the install, so it took longer, but I think the average person with cleaning everything out, installing all the little bits, the cutter heads, I'd say about an hour, give or take a little bit. But the most noticeable thing was the noise reduction. And I've heard people say too, like, oh, how quiet it is. Anyone that's ever used one with the straight blades knows that this thing is blaring loud. Even with your protection on, I'm in a 2-car garage with no insulation. I mean, this thing, stupid loud. And I ran a few different types of woods through it. I mean, it's insane how much quieter it is. Very smooth cuts, no snipe, and worth every penny. I highly recommend it. I have a Jet JJ6 jointer that Find by Tools offers a helical cutter head for, which they offer a lot. If you go to the product ones, they offer a ton of planer joiner helical heads. In a little bit of time, I'm going to get a helical head for that one. And if anyone's on the fence about getting the Find by Tools, I think a lot of people that have purchased would agree, it's worth every penny. I'm very impressed with it. Smooth installation. I ordered it, took about a week or so to get delivered. Can't say enough good things about it. Very impressed. So if you're on the fence, I'd get it.